Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Bring It On. Let's continue through this den of heresy.
Is there money to be made?
Nothing escapes my sight. Sins hidden in the heart turn all to decay. Pay attention. Cast your eye there.
Seems like somebody didn't want us to go this way.
The Emperor favors me today.
Keep your wits about you.
The Cogitator's panel has dozens of breakers, buttons, handles, switches, and other control mechanisms. View the log. You discover the local data crypt with contents collected by either previous operators or the machine spirit itself. Using your access, you study the archive stored on this Cogitator. Looks like they're churning out parts for Forge Fiends down here. I'm pretty sure that was the back to the Forge Fiend that we fought. Review the supply protocol. At first glance, the records look like a typical shipping report, but after further reading, it becomes apparent that the focus here is not ore or assembly parts, but augments extracted from living tech priests, and spent mass, the flesh of the victims killed either during or for the sake of machine rituals. Review the production protocol. The log looks damaged, the lines are uneven, and some of the values seem impossible. After a few minutes of studying the records, you feel your head begin to swim. The stored data can only be comprehended by a twisted mind touched by chaos corruption. So I wonder if you're on a heretical path, if you could understand that. Review the Ascension Protocol. This record looks like a sermon of some mad chaos worshipper. The log, clearly written from someone else's words, mentions the heart that exudes virtue, and the cradle that rocks the child of truth. Step away from the Cogitator.
Let us not dawdle. Always keep your eye on the prize. I always keep my options open.
The system accepts the access codes. The clanging of moving bolts indicates that the door has been unlocked. The inside. So that must be the way forward.
I always have a backup plan.
Take heed, rogue trader.
Keep your wits about you.
I am satisfied with your performance of the maintenance rites on your equipment, although some of your prayers are unfamiliar to me.
They are rites performed by the Imperial Knight pilots of my world. I must commend you on the delicacy with which you expressed your suspicion that I was deviating from dogma.
A desecrated altar to the Omnissiah. The purity seals have been torn off, data slates with sacred codes shattered, and some of the teeth on the gear adornments broken off.
Let us not dawdle. rise to the top or get left in the dust. Miscalculations are for commoners. I don't make mistakes. I make profitable learning experiences.
Something that clear the path here. Can I shoot this?
Some choose wealth, others prefer power. And
No.
me? Well, I'm not that
I
picky.
always keep
I'm
my
at your
options
service.
open.
We are the spearhead of the Imperium. The healing is much appreciated.
Is there money to be made?
Cyberguard is asking for access codes you do not have.
Operation successful.
This large device is a cargo lift used for transporting parts. Okay, I'll have to keep this place in mind for later.
Keep your wits about you. Always keep your eye on the prize.
This eerie-looking makeshift structure is an altar to Tzeentch. Amidst the revolting totems and twisted symbols dedicated to the Chaos God, you notice a string of 9s burned into the metal surface.
Let us not dawdle.
Good old Tzeentch. The great schemer, the changer of ways. He's also the Chaos God that most represents sorcery.
I always keep my options open.
The crucified body had all of its augmetics removed, judging by the abundance of blood. They were ripped out when the tech priest was still alive. Hey, Dementz! The tech priest tears himself away from reading his data slate and looks up at you. His respiratory augmetic is missing. Instead, the lower half of his face is covered in deathly pale artificial flesh. You take note of the multitude of fresh augmetics attached to his head. They seem to have been inserted haphazardly, and pus is seeping from the untreated wounds. I heard your footsteps in the void. You're Von Valancius, are you not? Pascal exchanges a series of binaric signals with the tech priest, before saying menacingly, initiating arrest procedure. This unit is using a fabricated identification code, which constitutes a Grade 4 transgression. Identify yourself. His white and lifeless lips stretch into a smile. My name is Dementz Haneumann. I believe it is familiar to you. This statement is false. This unit stands accused of identity theft. I am guilty of many things, but not the transgression you speak of. I have stolen nothing from you, my tech comrade. Unlike many others who have indeed robbed you. Haneumann has split himself into multiple personalities, multiple bodies. Tech Priest could do that as well. The best example would be Belisarius Cawl, who's a pretty significant figure in the 40k universe. But we don't know why and how they all forgot. Or at least, Pascal forgot. I'm giving you a chance to explain why you're using the name of another. Another? I have the right to bear this name. It is my humble inheritance, which I received from Archmagos Amarnet. To renounce it is to betray his ideas. The blessed Amarnet? Not sure if I'm emphasizing the right syllables. Taught us that the cycle must be discontinued, and it seems I have become his best student. Now I aspire to know all, comprehend all, as is the Omnissiah's will. Blasphemy. Should you continue these sacrilegious mentions of sacred litanies and heretical perversions of the blessed Amarnet's philosophy, you will be destroyed. You wish to sound outraged, but I sense your curiosity. I understand. Knowledge is intoxicating. This craving for new knowledge gnaws on me as well. But be patient. I am deciphering a great mystery, and my name became the start of the key. I analyzed the archives and found it in places where it should not be. Haneumann, Haneumann, Haneumann. I kept seeing this marker upon the traces of a great plot, of the deception created by Archmagos Amarnet. No sound mind is capable of such twisted cunning, but my mind was no longer sane. It could no longer stay within the narrow confines of the norm. Each new discovery loosened the imperatives of obedience and granted ever greater freedom. I developed. I avoided the traps of the maimed hunter who seeks to hide the truth. The words mean little. You want me to show you the truth. His pale lips spread into a smile. No, we're not going to risk that. Pascal, do you have any preferences regarding the killing of your former tech comrade? Pascal switches to Technolingua, his vox erupting in a series of binaric signals. There is no need for secrecy. Let him understand. The heretic nods in your direction with a smile. Pascal glances at you with worry and says in Gothic, his voice doubtful. Following a voluntary surrender, I will be willing to commute the punishment from immediate destruction to arrest and isolation, for the purposes of conducting an exhaustive interrogation. Does that not violate some protocol or other? Indeed, tech comrade. Does it not violate the dogma of purity? Pascal says nervously, your possible familiarity with matters related to the fate of the blessed Amarnet justifies this violation. No, we're not going to take a corrupted tech priest on board our ship. Well, I, for one, am not willing to let him live. The voices warned me that this moment would come.
You will beg for mercy.
Sorry, Pascal,
I will
but
grant none.
Show them no mercy.
we're not risking that.
Indeed.
Running binaric override. The Omnissiah knows all. Comprehend.
You've got a problem. I've got a prize.
Insignificant value.
Am I getting paid for this?
I see this guy. Corrupted Rust Stalker. Transonic Blade.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
I was supposed to use concentrated fire as well.
Doubt is for the weak.
Ow.
I'll make it happen.
Get me a target.
Naturally.
Let's see to it. Holy terror, smite your enemies.
But of course, Lord Captain.
Let's see to it. Someone's death wish is mine to grant.
I won't object to it. Naturally.
Ah, not quite enough AP, unfortunately.
Your reckoning is due.
Victory is imminent. I will do my... It will be done. Grey hair, sure hair.
Nice. Pascal stands motionless as he stares at the heretic's corpse. After a long silence, he finally says in a hollow voice, I am taking his neural cogitator. The data contained within must be analyzed to supplement the catechism of maintenance and operation. I would advise against it. It may be dangerous. Request denied. The value of the data justifies the risk. Pascal leans over the corpse, activates a sampling tool on one of his mechadendrites, and plunges it into the tangle of augmetics covering the heretic's skull. The vats, which were previously used to store fuel oil, have been turned into reservoirs for blood, an ingredient for the vile rituals that have replaced the orderly protocols of the manufactorum. A mishmash of steel, wire, and augmentations shaped by some madmen into an unknown and frightening monstrosity. A Zoa pattern plasma gun may be an upgrade for Pascal. And a portable cogitator. This cogitator grants the owner a +10 bonus to logic. He doesn't have to reload very often in combat, so I'll swap that out. She's more likely to need to reload, so... the combat manipulator is pretty good on her. And the bonus to awareness is solid, especially since she's our demolition expert.
Is there money to be made?
Redemption Gauntlets. The wearer's melee attacks made against enemies under the effect of exposed weakness decrease the enemy's strength and agility by -10. Exposed weakness, is that not...
You are authorized.
Yeah. That'd be good for a melee
Nothing's impossible for this old officer.
operator.
Experience. Nothing matters more.
I always have a backup plan.
The curved parts appear foreign compared to the orderly geometry of the manufactorum. The many holes and fasteners indicate that each component serves as but a single part of some wicked design. Yeah, it looks like forge fiend parts.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Which makes sense, because we know this is where the forge fiend came from. Also, did I not finish exploring down there? Or did we go through the door to access that? Yeah, I'm not sure why this is,
An expected result.
Rise
it's
to
fog
the
of war,
top,
'cause we've been up here
or
already.
get left in the dust. I always keep my options open. Is there money to be made?
It keeps creating fog of war, does it not? Because we've been up here. No, we have not. This is new. No, this.
Let us
Come
not
on, I'm looking at it
dawdle.
from the other side. Threw me off.
I always have a backup plan.
Nothing's impossible for this old officer.
Keep your wits about you.
The car is filled with refuse. Broken pieces of spare parts, chopped up lumps of flesh, bits of wire, and other rubbish.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Adaptive flak vest. Medium armor. Lackluster dodge chance. And damage reduction. This flak vest grants the wearer plus 3 deflection and plus 15% armor at the beginning of every combat. During the first 3 rounds, the bonus deflection is reduced by -1 and armor by -5% at the end of each round. And base armor property, plus 10% armor if wearer's intelligence is more than 55. Well, well, well. Our intelligence is not that high. I think... Yeah, only Pascals. That's pretty good, because there aren't usually that many rounds
Rise
in
to the
combat
top,
anyway.
or get left in the dust.
That should last through most of any engagement. Let's not release the car brake yet. Oh, unless we have to for that.
I always keep my options open.
Alright, we have an autosave. Alright, let's deal with the car first.
Let us not dawdle. Keep your wits about you.
Manual valve. A sacred instrument for manually activating the good machines of the Omnissiah.
Is there money to be made? Oh, it's a peculiar thing.
Ooh, a Chaos Space Marine. I do purposely say Space Marine with that slight pause to it because that's how the narrator from Dawn of War says it.
I always have a backup plan.
So it's intentional as a reference to Dawn of War. The cogitator looks dead. Only a single lit lumen shows that there is life within the machine. Bring your Elect 2 to the scanner. So Kiava Gamma was one of the areas where we had a hidden stash, right? As several lumens light up on the panel, you hear distinct clicks, and the cogitator goes quiet, clearly having fulfilled its purpose.
This could be an opportunity.
The door's pneumatic actuators have obviously failed. It can now only be opened manually by finding a suitable valve.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Guess what I have?
See? Right there.
The thick layer of dust is a telltale sign that this place has had very few visitors. Despite that, you can see faint footprints that were left by whoever came here last.
Nothing escapes my sight.
Alright, everybody just get back
I
real quick.
always keep my options open.
Not sure why she ran into it to disarm it, but sure. Doubly so. But they are fire traps though, and she doesn't have to worry about fire. Though I did miss out on experience. Now these old research cogitators are unpowered. The device, which bears an odd resemblance to both a cogitator and a furnace, reacts to your presence with a faint blink of its lights and an inscrutable binary signal.
Keep your wits about you.
The towering furnace wreathed in scarlet light fills you with awe. As you approach, the heavy thrum of ancient servo motors erupts from the machine's depths, along with the crackling binaric undertones. The dust-covered keys are illuminated by a faint, pale glow. I put the code to disable the traps. The furnace responds with a short binaric signal that evokes the mechanical rustling of unseen switches, which they've already been disarmed. Request the Adora's data. The machine reacts with a curt binaric signal followed by a low, drawn-out tone. I thought I disabled the traps. All right. Rumbling builds up in the bowels of the furnace, growing stronger apace with the sound of the ancient motors. The rumble is echoed by the screeching of metal gears and the clanging of unknown mechanisms. Slowly, almost hesitantly, the creation of the Adeptus Mechanicus disgorges a databank engraved with the coat of arms of House von Valancius. Databank from Kiava Gamma. Take a look at that. A storage device discovered in a hidden chamber on Kiava Gamma. The data it contains has been securely encrypted. Now we all have another trauma. Pretty nasty one at that.
Always keep your eye on the
It might be worth
prize.
running back to the ship real quick. And fixing ourselves up before we have to deal with these boss fights. Well, the Chaos Space Marine may not be a proper boss fight, but still. May not be the worst idea.
Let us not dawdle.
Especially, I mean, Heinrich's, our main DPS, has taken a huge hit to his stats.
rise to the top or get left in the dust.
If the game didn't want me to go back and get rid of my traumas, it would find a way to stop me. Like the fabricator sensor could have locked the doors to force us to stay there. Okay, I'm going to call it here, and next time we'll take care of these tough cultists and the Chaos Space Marine. And that might be a dead end on that side, so we'll go back over here to the inside and deal with that too. But for now, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.